To it, I just want to do a trade recap of the trade that I took today on Tesla, right off the pre-market game plan. As always, I will include the live trade at the end of this, and I highly recommend going to watch that live trading session video from today, because right now you're just getting the glimpse of it, but the context that goes into it prior, to the breakout and when the breakout occurred and how we managed to trade, my entries, exit, and so on. So a couple of things, 'cause I have a lot of notes here. Today was a very big educational day. So before we break this video down, one, I am almost done with my educational video. I'm pretty much done with it. I'm done with the PowerPoint slide, but I'm a visual learner. I know a lot of you are visual learners, so I want to include a bunch of live trades to have visual examples on my entry criteria, right? So everyone voted on entry confirmation candles on when to enter and how to enter these trades. So I'm very excited about that video. That's going to be a good one. A lot of useful information there. And two, so if you notice, I kind of stopped making these trade and recap videos for a handful of reasons. One, if you watch my live trades, you see that there are plenty of trades that I take that I don't make a video on, even my winning trades, and mainly being everything that I post, I want it to be educational. I want you to be able to pull out a pen and paper and take notes on these trades and what I'm doing, right? So on a technical standpoint, sure, every trade that I take, win or lose, there's something to learn from it. But everything that I post, I want it to be educational. I'm not that trader. Like, I don't care to show you a P&L and make a trade recap just because I made a lot of money. We know there's a lot of traders that does that. I don't really care to do that. So to each their own. The whole point of all of this is for you to genuinely learn, right? So that's why I stopped doing that. And like I said, if you watch the live trading session videos, you'll see my trades anyway in real time. But today was a big educational day, and this is why I want to make this trading video and trading recap video, I'm sorry, on Tesla. So there's four major lessons, in this video. One, we practice good habits. That's the main one. And if you watch today's session, you'll see that we practice good habits. We planned our trade and we traded our plan, right? Criteria checked off, entry criteria, all those things. We'll get into that. Number two, no FOMO. That's a big one today, and I'll get into that after I start to break this down. We did not FOMO into our position. You can see Tesla ripped. It ripped straight up, and sometimes when this happens, you feel like you missed a move. So we did not FOMO into this move. Three, we waited for the pre-test. I'm sorry, for the retest prior to enter in this trade. That is, as you know, something that I always preach is the number one most important thing on the break and retest is displacement. As soon as we get a breakout of a key level, I am not looking for the retest. I'm looking for displacement first. So I break that down very thoroughly. I highly recommend that. And four, if you'll see at the live, I'm sorry, at the end of this video, the live trading video that I'll include on this trade is I did not trade my P&L. As you know, the way that I trade, I love to hold my trades, right? Traders hurt their P&L when they sell or get out of a trade just because they're up X amount, and you don't realize that you're hurting your P&L. So if you've been seeing how I trade now, that we're kind of like out of this consolidation zone, I love to hold my trades. I love to milk my trades, manage my trades on the higher time frame, and get as much as I can out of them, right? A lot of traders are very backwards on that. They love to cut their winners quickly, but hold their losers, and I'm the complete opposite. So did not trade the P&L. We respected our key level. We ended up pulling back a little deeper after our entry point, which was fine, but I didn't make an emotional decision. That's very big, and letting the trade play out. So those were really the main things I wanted to hit on. Now let's get into it. So one thing I say is, like, I'm always giving free game, right? I'm a lot of things, and a hypocrite is not one. So if you go back and watch, every trading recap or every live trading session, and you correlate that with my pre-market game plans, they're all dated. You will realize that the same plans that I'm giving you are the same trades that I'm taking, right? Plan your trade and trade your plan. So let's zoom out here on the, yeah, I'll start here on the 30. Now, what was the game plan coming into today? It was either a pullback long off of 450 or a break and retest over 466. And we knew what our A plus trade is. Now, we ended up ripping to the upside. We ended up ripping to the upside, rallying to the upside. And we remained patient, right? That's sometimes where the FOMO kicks in and you feel like, oh man, I'm not going to get this retest and this thing runs. Track your own data. 7 times out of 10, we do get a retest. 7 times out of 10, we do. So there was a couple of things going into this. I'm like, okay, we were technically in a channel and we were consolidating that, and this was a blow off top. So if we don't get that pullback, I'm expecting that. That's normal. We can clearly see throughout this entire day, 466.50 held on the dot. Beautiful. Wicks do the damage. Body tells the story. We ended up pulling back, but buyers kept defending this. Now, why was this the A plus trade coming into today? Like I said, it's been almost a year since price has been above 466.50. Almost a year. Bottom left, you can see 12/18/2024. It's been almost a year. So getting this breakout today is a very big deal. It was a very big deal. Now, if you watch that live trading session, I kind of predicted this in a way. It clearly played out on the dot. I said, all right, I'm starting to see sellers step up here. What today can form is basically a bull trap. Now, technically, it didn't because price did hold above it, but a wick above on the daily and the body of the candle closing under that. That's something I'm kind of expecting. And, we pretty much did do that on the dot. So tomorrow I'll be looking for a candle to form above this 466.50 pullback here, and we get a long entry again. That's still an A plus setup here. So that was really the game plan, coming into today, waiting for the break of this 466.50 and the retest. Now, patience pays. That's something I always say. Patience pays. The reason I say, a key lesson here is us not, letting FOMO kick in. We waited. Let me see. We got this breakout at 6:48. Technically at 6:46. We didn't get our retest until 6:34. So almost an hour, right? We waited for this pullback to occur before we took our shot. That is patient pace. That's not FOMOing into a position. That's not chasing a position, and that's not practicing bad habits, right? So give you a visual here on what I mean. Let's break this down a little bit more thoroughly. We're very overextended. We rallied up and got this retest. Now, that was the game plan. Obviously, that was the game plan. If you break it down here, you can see from market open, all we did was shoot to the upside. That's why I wasn't quick to really chase this. I was expecting some type of pullback because I knew we were overextended. I'll zoom out here on the 15-minute, and you'll see our first 2 to 3 15-minute candles was just straight bullish, thick green candles. So I was expecting a little slow momentum like that, right? And then boom, get that retest, and that is textbook. Buyer stepped up here aggressively, push this thing back to the upside. That's textbook. You can clearly see, right? This is no coincidence. This tells me I did my job, right? This tells me I did my job. I marked out a key level, I identified one, and these are drawn out before market open, and buyer step up aggressively here at this 466.50 on the dot. That's no coincidence. So really wanted to break that down, go into that. Let's go here on the 15-minute. And the way I managed this trade as well, look at these 15-minute candles, these first two 15 minutes, just straight upside. So as you know, this is why I say, less is more. Understand the personality of every stock that you trade. We opened up at 453. We pushed all the way up to 474. So I know on average, Tesla moves $15 to $20 in a day. We rocketed to the upside. So, I brought up beginning of this video, I said I love to hold my trades. I love to milk my trades and ride them as long as I can. But I'm understanding market context here. We went straight up. This move is exhausted. So I sold into the second push on the high day. To me, that was a really good sell. The reason for that being is because one, this was the second push into the high day. I saw sellers come in, and I would have got stopped out eventually, I think. Like, you got theta, right? We ended up pulling back. Never probably would have got stopped out here. I had to read it. I was in pretty heavy. I did enter somewhere around here. So on Tesla, right? And I did play 2 strikes out of the money. That's somewhat of a big stop loss. We come back here, a bit of a deeper pullback. So I'm very happy with myself, just understanding market context, knowing, okay, I can't really look for continuation because this thing is so exhausted. We already, this is the move of the day. As you can see, this is the move of the day, straight up. And then all we did was this for the remainder of the day. So I'm understanding that, right? That's something that's very huge. I really wanted to break that down because I would have managed this trade very differently if we got this move, the first 10 minutes, the first 15 minutes. But I had to wait for the slow grind pullback, and I'm understanding, okay, Tesla's already exceeded expectations, and we already broke outside of this key level, and we're holding above it. I can't expect, too much of a grind to all-time highs. So this thing is still in play in tomorrow, but this was a really good trade. A lot of key lessons here that I really wanted to break down. Not letting FOMO kick in on this breakout, being very patient. As I always say, the deeper the pullback, the better, because the tighter of our risk, right? We ended up getting that pullback. Buyer stepped in. I waited for a strong candle for me to see buyers are showing their hands. I took my shot, and I managed to trade on the 5-minute and was able to sit in this, not trading my P&L, and getting this push into the high day. So that was really solid. And another key lesson I want to break down here. Now, to each their own. Everyone trades very differently. Maybe I'll make a video on this in the future based on order blocks. But on a technical standpoint, an order block is a down close candle in an uptrend. So this is why I only trade off of key levels. Less is more. You know what they say, life is what you make it. Trading is what you make it. Trading can be very simple and very easy if you make it that way. And this is why I don't really take trades off of order blocks, because some people sent me some trades today that they took on the order block and they lost. And this is why. You get a breakout, right? You think, all right, we're trending, which technically we are. This is all easy to say after hindsight, but in the moment, right? You get a down close candle, uptrend, we make a new all-time high, good displacement, we retest this and buyer step up aggressively, but then you get stopped out. This is a very frustrating loss. The reason that's a frustrating loss is because your thesis is correct. You are long over 466.50. As long as we are over this name, your thesis is correct to go long. But you didn't take a trade off a key level. So you end up going long, but you end up taking a loss. We ended up pulling back to our key level where your thesis is still correct, but you ended up taking a loss anyway. So I really wanted to hit on that. If you focus on these higher time frame key levels and only focus on key levels, I promise you your win percentage will go up. You will have the better RR trades. I broke that down thoroughly before. Now let's go to Tsla. You can see here, solid day. You're going to get paid more on these momentum moves, but today was about practicing bad habits. I'm sorry, practicing good habits. You do not want to practice bad habits. Practicing good habits. So, I could have taken that instant break and retest, and I break that down in the live trading session video, but I'm understanding I'm not playing the break and retest. I'm basically playing momentum there. And if I do that, I'm deviating away from my system that's got me here, that's gotten me this far. So always, focus on practicing good habits, because that's going to save you over a long period of time. Like I've said before, sometimes that's why trading is hard, because when you practice bad habits, you get paid for it. So we waited for the break, we waited for the displacement, we didn't FOMO into it, we waited for the retest, buyer stepped in aggressively, we marked out our key level, we did our job finding a key level in the higher time frame, and we got this push. You can see here, selling into the second push. This was the second high day, and we just ended up selling off for the rest of the day. So solid trade. I was in this trade roughly almost 10 minutes. Not too bad. But the point is, we waited roughly an hour for the pullback. And then once we saw our buyer step up at our key level, we took our shot, right? That's what I mean by patient pays. So solid day. Good way to start the week, start the month. I journal as if I'm just starting. That's something that I'm very big on. I've been doing this for years now, and I still journal as if I just started yesterday. So it's very important to journal. And what do we do correctly, right? I study these things going into the following day. Even my mistakes, I study more than I do on the things that I did correct. So what did I do correctly? Pull back long off of 466.50. I planned my trade and traded my plan. I was patient, waiting for the retest off my key level. I did not FOMO into chasing the breakout or taking a trade on a pullback that wasn't deep enough off my key level to risk off of. Remember, we were risk managers before we were traders. I identified relative strength compared to the overall market and used that as extra confluence to take my shot. And I sold into the second high day push, solid sell, because I understood market context and knew we were overextended. So I didn't look to hold or scale. If I did, I would have got stopped out on my hold position or on my runners. And I'm actually glad that I went over this with you, because this is a big thing that I do want to hit on. So look at Tesla here. Look at this clear diversion. I mean, we are just rallied to the upside. Look at Q's. Whole morning, complete opposite, right? Q's is melting to the downside. Tesla's rallying to the upside. Look at SPY. Whole morning, we actually end up pulling back down there all the way down to the previous day low, melted to the downside, and Tesla is just rallying to the upside. That's getting my attention. And you can see we are bullish on this name. We are trending higher. You can clearly see that. Let me break this down. Very bullish on this name. I've been saying as long as we are above 410, we are bullish biased. We get that break. This was a key level down here, this 445. I remember that like yesterday. We ended up moving higher after hours pre-market break, retest, and this thing is still in play to the upside towards all-time high. So this is beautiful here on Tesla. Just wanted to break that down thoroughly. You can clearly see uh, ended up taking this off my daily key level here, break, retest, solid trade. So I hope you're able to learn from this. I hope you see why enter my trade, why exit my trade, but most importantly, the thought process behind going into the trade, not FOMOing into a trade, not chasing the breakout, not like I understood. Hey, Tesla's been in a channel, and I really want this trade. I'm human too. I really want this trade, but I can't chase that. I can't force that because then I'm practicing a bad habit if I do. And we know on options, you get paid more on momentum. We definitely would have got paid 10 times more. We ended up getting a 13% return, which is still a really good day. But on this instant break and retest with that momentum push, making a new high, we would have got paid 10x more, right? But we planned our trade, we traded our plan, and we did not deviate away from our system. So hope this helps. I hope you're able to learn something and enjoy the live trade at the end of this. Be patient here on this on that entry. Took a little risk. I'll lose this, I'll take it. Mark's just pretty heavy, but seeing buyer stuff up there, it's kind of a shot gotta take. This is very heavy right now. Yeah, market's super heavy. So we'll see. It's kind of like didn't want, but I saw something like that, momentum candle. I gotta take that. See, the thing is, it's kind of holding up while this market is pulling back very heavy. Like the contracts are some holding their value. Like I'm up 2%. So, but like see that? Like this thing's trying. If we can get like a curl, like something like that, I like it. I gotta take my risk off that though. Seeing something like that, I have to. This market is very heavy right now. But Tesla's like really trying to hold up. So I'm not looking to be greedy here, but I just want to see. Like that's a shot I have to take. I understand. Like I gotta embrace this, kind of just sit in this. Like this somewhat looks like see that? That's exactly what I'm seeing. I saw buyer step up there. I gotta take that. Just have to be patient. These contracts are holding. Like I'm up 3%. The market's just heavy. It's very heavy. I feel like if we get stopped out on here, it's really just because the market's heavy. I waited for the deepest pullback I could to take the risk off of. So kind of just gotta embrace the pain here. The Qs is trying to give us a little lower day bounce, but this thing is trending lower. So like I would 100% take this trade again. The contracts are holding. They're trying. I'm at 1%. So I feel like the move is like already a little exhausted. Just obviously this big breakout. We're seeing a low day bounce here on the Qs. We'll see. SPY's pretty much pulled back to the previous day low. Buyers are trying to step up there a little bit. So like I'd love to see like a little momentum break like that. That would be solid. I'm down 2% right now. But see these buyers stepping in? Like, bro, now I'm back in the green. Like, this is a good shot. I don't care. Like, if I lose that, that's a good loss. If anything, if this market wasn't heavy, I would have looked to add to my position here. If this market wasn't so heavy. I just don't trust that. Okay, we're back. We're up 3%. That is beautiful. Like, that's what you want to see. Buyers step up aggressively here. Look at this candle. Like, that is what you want to see. So, the 15-minute looks great. We're seeing this low 8 bounce here. I'll look to maybe get out or scale out once I'm up, like maybe 10%. We'll see. Oh, beauty. Beautiful. Come on. I don't trade my P&L, but when you get this move, right, I'm really focused on the RR. So if these comps can hit like at least over 10%, I'll be okay. Right, like I said, I'm not trying to sell based on dollar amount. If this thing wants to have momentum, like I'm looking at the momentum. Come on, Tesla. Give us a great day. Give us a great day. Come on, Tesla. There we go.